Just once again, before the session begins? Yes. Thank you, Swapna. Thank you, Prakash. During this pandemic, I'm sure that many of the participants who have joined in today's session must be thinking as to how do we start investing? Maybe there are new participants who have joined the webinar. Maybe there are existing participants who want to learn more about how do I invest, in which instruments do I invest, what are the precautions that I need to take while investing into the capital markets. So today, we at SEBI, NSDL and NSE have come together to conduct this webinar for the benefit of the participants. Participants, I would request everyone, since the presentation is being made available on our NSDL website itself, you can download the presentation, and in case if you feel like if there are any questions during the session that you need to ask, please do keep it ready, handy. We have a question answer session. So during the question answer session, you can ask your questions and we'll be glad to help you out. I'll be just sharing the presentation. So today with us we have from SEBI Mr. S. Vijayarangam. He is a postgraduate in commerce from the Madras University and a fellow member of the Insurance Institute of India. He is currently the Assistant General Manager working in Investigation Department of SEBI. Thank you, sir, for joining with us today. And I would like now Vijayarangam, sir, to take it forward from here.
Thank you, Mr. Marlon. Good morning, participants. Now, let us start the presentation on the securities market in India. Please go ahead.
Sir, can you be a little louder? Because I guess the voice is a little low.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good morning, participants. I am Vijayarangam from SEBI. I would like to talk to you on the Indian securities market and the role of SEBI in protection of investors' interests, followed by the depository services by NSDL, Mr. Marlon, and the stockbroking services and the securities trading by Mr. Naveen of National Stock Exchange. This is a general disclaimer. SEBI is a statutory body. It was incorporated as a corporate body in 1992 by way of an act of parliament by name the Securities and Exchange Board of India, Act 15 of 1992. So now the flow of presentation will be like this. First we will be seeing the securities market and SEBI, then followed by the primary market, the secondary market, and what are the due diligence the new investors are in general the investor has to do it before making the investment in securities market. The rights of the shareholders and a small introduction to mutual funds, do's and don'ts of buying, selling shares in securities market, and above all, there is a platform called Course. This is the initiative by SEBI just to address the grievances of the investors in securities market. Then you have some information on the help desk of SEBI.
Vijayarangam, sir, is it possible to be a little louder if possible? Because participants are just mentioning that your volume is a little low. If possible, can you be a little louder?
Yeah. Is it okay now?
Participants, if you can hear, sir, can you just mention yes in the chat box, please? Other participants? Yeah, solution. So you can go ahead.
Yeah. As I said, the Act Securities and Exchange Board of India Act 1992 gives 3 mandates to SEBI. That is, protection of interests of investors, promote the development of securities market, regulation of securities market. These are the three key mandates given to SEBI by the Parliament of India. Then, in order to carry out these mandates, the major work done by SEBI so far is improvement in the market design and regulation, availability of newer products, and increase the market efficiency and transparency so that investors have the confidence and take informed investment decision in the investment of their savings in securities. Now, the securities market infrastructure. SEBI being the regulator, then you have stock exchanges who are the frontline regulator for the stockbrokers. Then you have clearing corporations, you have depositories and companies. Depositories have under their control the depository participants who are the interface for the investors with regard to the dematerialization and rematerialization of their shares and transfer of off-market transfers and other securities movement-related services. And companies, you have other intermediaries like merchant bankers, registrars and share transfer agents, collection bankers, debenture trustees, and others. This is the total structure of the Indian securities market. Now, as a new investor, these are the three prerequisites for you to invest in securities market. First, you should have a savings bank account in any of the banks which has the provision for online transfer or Advisable related UPI related facilities. Then you should have a trading account with any of the stockbrokers registered with SEBI. And you should have a demat account. You must be a beneficiary account owner of a depository participant under a depository participant to hold your shares which are bought and in the electronic format. So these are the three key elements for you to trade in the securities market. These are the various document requirements to open these three accounts. One is proof of identity. For that, PAN is a mandatory document. And then you should have a bank account. Again, you should have a proof of address to open this trading account and the demat account. Aadhaar is not a compulsory document, though that can be given as ID proof or address proof, but PAN is a mandatory document. Without PAN, you cannot open a trading account or a demat account. Now, let us see what is primary market and what is secondary market. Primary market, by definition, is the marketplace where the securities are issued for the first time by the issuers and the investors are subscribing or investing in these securities for the first time. Then, it is also called new issues market. The price, the issue price of these securities are determined by the company in consultation with the merchant bankers, and then the merchant bankers are registered and transfer agents are the key intermediaries in the primary market. The purpose of primary market is to raise capital for expansion by the issuers. It is also an interface between the investors and the issuers directly. Then you have secondary market. Secondary market is a facility to provide liquidity for the securities. That is, the investor who already owns the securities can sell. An investor who wants to buy a security which has already been issued can buy the security in the secondary market. It is called post-issue market. The price determination happens in secondary market depending upon the supply and demand forces. And the stockbrokers and depository participants are the key intermediaries in secondary market. The purpose of the secondary market, as I told, is to provide liquidity for the investors who hold the securities and for the investors who want to buy the securities. And it is also a platform for the issuers to raise further capital. Okay. Now we have various public issues. A public issue can be an initial public offering or an IPO or a follow-on public offering or FPO. And you have a rights issue, a bonus issue, and private placement. Under IPO, you have fresh issues and offer for sale. Fresh issues is issue of capital by the company, and the shares issued by the company are directly sold to the investors, and the money paid for these shares are added to the share capital of the company. In case of offer for sale, it is the promoter or any other person who already owns the shares in the company before the company gets listed. These entities are offering their shares to the investors and to get the shares listed on the stock exchange. So, the shares issued are not new issues, and the consideration paid for these shares are not added to the share capital but to the entities which sell the share. In the case of follow-on public offering, there are two types. Again, one is fresh issue and offer for sale. As I said, a listed company can issue shares again to new investors, that is follow-on public offering. Again, under the follow-on public offering, the already listed companies can make an arrangement through the stock exchanges and other medium so that the promoters or any other investor who has a sizable holding in the company offloads the shares in the market directly to the investors. So these are the four varieties of public issues. Then you have rights issue. Rights issue is a new share issued by the company to the existing shareholders of the company. The existing shareholders can subscribe to the new issue or they can renounce their rights. It is their right. So they can either exercise their right by applying for the share or they can renounce it to any third party. Now SEBI has introduced a new concept called rights entitlement. So an investor who doesn't own a share but he wants to participate in the rights issue has to acquire this rights entitlement from the stock exchange and then subscribe to the share. Then you have bonus shares. Bonus shares are issued by the company for capitalizing their reserves. In the sense, the shareholders who already hold shares in the company are getting fresh shares free of cost. This is bonus share. Then you have private placement. Private placement is a method wherein the company, which is in need of fresh capital for its financial requirement, issue to identify the shareholders on private placement basis. These shares are also getting listed subject to fulfillment of certain conditions imposed by SEBI. These conditions involve predominantly the pricing. The company has to price these issues based on certain parameters prescribed by SEBI. Next, please. Now, as a new investor, what is due diligence? Due diligence is nothing but knowing where you are investing your money, how your money will be utilized by the issuer, or how your money how the company you are investing in is managed by the people, how its cash flows are, how is profitability, how is the competition it is faced in the market. All these are called due diligence. Why you have to make this due diligence? Investment without analyzing all these factors are like driving on a highway blindfolded. So, an investor should have a proactive approach to know about the prospective investment and the investing companies. They should have a better understanding about the past performance of not only the company, but also the promoters of the company, the key managerial personnel, the competitors in the market where the company is operating, all these elements. Then you have what are the questions to ask before investing? These are the questions. One, is the company's revenue increasing day by day or year on year or quarter on quarter? Is the company is actually making a profit? Is the company able to repay its debt? Is the company in a position strong enough to compete with the peers? So these are the questions you have to raise, you have to analyze based on the material available in public domain. You can use these information in websites of the stock exchange where the listed companies are asked to post their financial results, their annual report, their shareholding pattern, everything. All these information are available in the stock exchange website. Now, let us see how to apply in a public issue. There is a new method called ASBA. This is application supported by blocked amount. Based on the complaints received by SEBI sometime back regarding non-receipt of refund on failure to get allotment or non-receipt of allotment, etc., SEBI introduced a new concept that is ASBA. Under this ASBA, you may have to submit your application with a mandate for the bank to block the amount in your savings account, which is required for the application purposes. Your money doesn't go out of your savings account, but it is blocked. Once you are allotted with the required number of shares, your money is moved out from your bank to the bank account of the company. So your money is safe. If you are not getting the allotment, the block is lifted. The lien on the application amount is lifted. Now you are free to utilize that amount. So as long as the application is pending allotment, you cannot utilize this money. But the money doesn't go out of your bank account. It earns the interest on that. And you have UPI in ASBA. UPI is the recent concept where you are giving the mandate by way of unified payment interface introduced by the BAME, and it works similarly as like ASBA. Only when the allotment is made, the application money is debited to your bank account. Until then, the money doesn't move out. Then you have 3-in-1 account. 3-in-1 accounts are given by large brokerages in the arrangement with banks. So you will be opening a bank account with the brokerage. You will be opening a trading account with the brokerage and also a demat account. This 3-in-1 account facilitates easy flow of money either for new issues or for secondary market trading. So when you buy shares in the secondary market, your money is automatically debited to your bank account. Similarly, when you are selling shares in the stock exchange through a stockbroker, the stockbroker automatically credits the sale proceeds to your bank account and debits your demat account to the extent of the shares sold. So it provides the ease of convenience for the investors to participate in the market in a seamless manner. Then you have offline mode and online mode. You can open a demat account first, or you can open a demat account and a trading account with the brokerage, or you can go for a 3-in-1 account. These are the choice given to the investor. You have the facility of offline and online way of opening these accounts. Due to the pandemic, you may not be able to visit the office of a brokerage or a depository participant to open your bank account. So, certain facilities have been made so that you can open your account online. You can submit all the documents in electronic manner in a seamless way. Your accounts are getting opened and activated. Next, please. Now, as a shareholder of a company, what are your rights? You are the part owner of the company. You have contributed to the share capital of the company, so you are a part owner of the company. You have the right to receive corporate benefits like dividends whenever it is declared and approved by the board of directors and by the shareholders. You have the right to receive annual report whenever it is published. You have the right to receive and to see the audited financial statements. You have the right to receive notice of general meetings and other notices. You have the right to attend the company meetings and participate in the voting process. You can appoint a proxy in case you are not able to attend. Now, in order to enable wider participation of the investors, e-voting is also enabled. So, you can visit the website or the mobile applications of any of the depositories and you can participate and exercise your e-voting in any of the postal ballot process by the companies in which you are holding share. Next, please. You have the right to ask questions to the board of directors. You have the right to place items on the agenda of general meeting and you have the right to propose certain resolutions also. You have the right to participate in the matters needing shareholder approvals like to vote in company proceedings, to approve mergers and acquisitions, appointment of directors on company board, changing the auditors, etc. You have the right to inspect company statutory books and records. You have the right to transfer the shares by applicable laws. If you have certain shares in the company, you can transfer the shares wholly or partly to anyone you want to, either in way of dematerialized mode or in way of physical mode. But physical mode, certain conditions are there. Those conditions need to be fulfilled. And you have every right to make your complaint against the company to SEBI, the court platform. Now, these are the recent investor protection measures and the enabling measures taken by SEBI for the convenience of investors. As I framework. This is to facilitate your margin requirements whenever you are trading in the stock market. Then you have basic services demat account. For small investors, who hold insignificant value of shares. This basic services demat account has been introduced where the charges are very, very high. Then mutual funds. Now, mutual funds is a pooled asset. You can contribute your savings to the mutual fund asset management company and leave the choice of investing to the asset managers. These mutual funds issue unit certificates. They issue units to the unit holders. These units can also be dematerialized and kept in the demat account. Okay. Now, let's see what is a mutual fund. As I said, mutual fund a pooled vehicle where the asset management company who is supposed to be a professional investor, he undertakes the activity of analyzing the company and making informed investment decisions. So the asset manager mobilizes monies from small investors and these monies are invested in the company's shares based on the investment decision or based on the theme they have announced at the time of pooling the resources. Now, the securities are held in trust for the unit holders. The benefits are realized. The dividends declared by the companies are collected on behalf of the unit holder and are pooled again. These benefits, along with the capital appreciation, is passed on to the investors. So, a small investor who wants to have exposure to the equity assets is always advisable to go through the mutual fund vehicle first because he can have a fair experience on the securities market gained so that he can participate in the securities market directly in course of time. As I said earlier, why there is a need for mutual fund? The mutual fund deploys the funds in a basket of stocks. So there is a diversification. As a small investor, we may not be able to track the performance of all the companies that are available for investment in the stock exchanges. So then, as a professional investment manager, he analyzes all the companies and he zeroes in on certain companies and he diversifies the investment portfolio. So, he is giving the convenience for the small investors of choosing the best run companies for investment. Then you have the return potential. The returns are added to the investment and it is getting reflected in the net asset value of the investment. Now, let us see the classification of mutual funds. We have equity schemes which predominantly invest in equity shares of companies. Then we have debt schemes which deploys funds in corporate bonds and government securities. You have hybrid schemes which invest both in equity and in debt schemes in a predetermined ratio. You have solution-oriented schemes like retirement benefit schemes, all those things. Then other schemes. You have product labeling for mutual funds. You are seeing a riskometer on the right side of the screen. The mutual fund schemes are color coded on the basis of the riskometer. If you see the low in green color, it has the low risk with regard to the principal. And with the next stages, low to moderate, the principal is moderately at risk. Then you have risk. Then you have moderately high risk, and then very high risk, that is in red color. This is called the riskometer, and this is indicated in all the schemes of mutual funds. Now, let us see the do's and don'ts of buying or selling of shares in securities market. As an investor, you have to make sure that you receive funds and securities in your account within 1 day of payout. Our Indian securities market now follow T plus 2 settlement, that is transaction plus 2 days. Say for example, if you are buying or selling on day 1, you have to give your securities if you have sold on the next day, and you will be receiving your sale proceeds on the second day of the trading. This is called the T plus 2 settlement. Then you have to read and understand the power of attorney document before executing it. It is a very sensitive document, though it is not a mandatory. As I said, it facilitates a streamlined trading in the stock exchanges. You have to ensure that you receive contract notes for all your purchases and sales in the stock exchanges within 24 hours of the trade. You have to ensure that you receive statement of account at least once in a quarter from your stockbroker. The statement of account clearly indicates the day-wise trading carried out by you, the day-wise purchases, sales, the net money balance at the end of the quarter, etc. And avoid keeping excess money in your broking account. You have to ensure that the broker does not pledge your securities to raise funds. Now there is a mandate. Whenever there is a pledge or transfer created in your demat account, you will get an SMS from the depositories. For this purpose, you have to give your actual mobile number at the time of opening the demat account. Please ensure that the mobile number given in the application form pertains to you and not to anyone else, because any movement in and out of the demat account is declared by way of an SMS to the demat account holder. Don't sign the delivery instruction slip with the DP or the stockbroker. Delivery instruction slip is akin to a checkbook of a bank account, because without this delivery instruction slip, no DP can move out the shares in your demat account. So this has to be kept very carefully. Don't keep the delivery instruction slip in the signed form. Keep it always blank, and whenever required only you have to execute the slip and sign on. Then regularly you have to verify the balances of securities in your demat account. Every month you are receiving an electronic consolidated account statement sent by the depositories in your email ID. You can also have a mobile application installed in your mobile phone, and you can check your holdings as frequently as you wish. And you have to receive your email, SMS alert, everything on your mobile phone and your designated email ID, and you have to, on a daily basis, you have to open those mails and you have to see what are the transactions or otherwise taken place in your demat and stockbroking account. Don't trust any hot investment tip that you are receiving in your mobile phone, email, or you are coming across in any website or in any flyer. You have to take investment decisions based on your personal understanding or after the advice given by the financial advisor who is again registered with SEBI. You have to go by his advice, or you have to analyze the stock on your own. Don't go by the tips which are freely available through any means. That's it. Another thing is, you should not blindly initiate investment decisions of others who may have profited from their investment decision. People may say something, yes, I have invested in that company, I am making huge profit. No, that man may be something, he may be telling something, beyond his comprehension, beyond his understanding of the securities market. So always understand the system, understand the company financials, understand who the company is, understand how the company is managed, then you invest. Then you get clear about all the brokerages, commission, fees, and other charges levied by the broker and other intermediaries, because this will significantly impact your investment cost. Make payment only by banking channels. Whenever you buy stock from the broker, don't give cash. You have to give only check or transfer funds by electronic means. Then don't share your internet trading account password with anyone. This is a very sensitive information. It is like your internet banking login credentials, so it has to be protected at any cost. Don't share with anyone. Don't blindly follow advertisements, media reports about the financial performance of the companies, as they may be misleading. Be aware of your rights and responsibilities. We have seen some of your responsibilities in the earlier slide. So you have to keep all those rights, but at the same time, you have to keep your responsibilities also in mind. You have to take informed decisions and do proper due diligence while investing. You should not make any purchase or sale on impulsive basis. Don't deal with any other person who is not a registered intermediary. You have to deal with only a person who has a registration number and a registration certificate issued by you, issued by SEBI. You have to ask for it. Then you have to be very cautious against unsolicited investment tips, as I have said earlier. This is another platform where you can raise your grievances for redressal. SEBI has brought out an online platform for redressal of the investors in securities market. The redressal happens against any issuer. It may be a listed company or it may be an intermediary like a stockbroker, stock exchange, depositories or depository participant, registered to an issue, or against a debt issuer, anyone who is connected to the stock market or securities market. The URL of the Scores platform is www.scores.gov.in. You should have a plan to create a login credential for that. You can create a login credential and lodge your complaint. Your complaint is monitored online. The feedback on your complaint is also communicated online. If you have any grievance on the feedback status, you can come back to SEBI. You can say that you are not satisfied with that. All those provisions are enabled online. It is very easy and very comfortable. You're sitting at your home, you can get your grievances resolved. It is investor friendly. It's a central web-based complaint portal. Next, please. This is the information or help desk of SEBI. I have a website called investor.sebi.gov.in. It has got ocean of information. You have to visit at least once and you just see what kind of information is available. It will be very useful for you while taking your investment decision. And if you need further clarification on that, you can call SEBI anytime between 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Monday to Friday. The number is given. It is 1-800-222-7575, 1-800-266-7575. You also have an email ID that is asksebi@sebi.gov.in, wherein you can voice your grievances, you can forward your feedback, you can forward your general and market-related inputs to SEBI.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the presentation.
Yes.
Thank you once again, participants. And Mr. Malin Korea from NSDL, I will be talking about the depository services. What are the services that a depository offers to you? And they're very important to understand because there are many features and facilities which many of the participants are unaware of it, and due to that, they are not making use of it. So there are many such services which I will be explaining it to you through this presentation. So the flow of presentation for me it will be we will be talking about the demat account. I'm sure what is, you know what is a demat account, what is the basic services demat account, which Vijayanandam sir has told you about. What are the services offered by the depositories? What is transmission of securities? I'll be talking about that as well. What is a pledge and consolidated account statement, which is one of the important statements that you need to check it out, and the investor grievance redressal mechanisms. So talking about a demat account, I'm sure that there will be many existing participants who have joined in today's presentation. But in case for those participants who don't have a demat account, who are new investors, and they want to open a demat account, if you want to invest in the capital market, first you need to have three accounts, which sir has already explained: bank account, demat account, and trading account. It is similar to if you don't have a bank account, you cannot transfer funds from one account to another, right? Similarly, in case of if you want to invest into capital market, that means if you want to invest, buy or sell securities, you need to have these three accounts: bank account, demat account, and trading account. Now, where can you open a demat account? Just as whenever you want to open a saving account, what do? You go to a bank to open a saving account. You do not go to an RBI to open a saving account, right? Similarly, in case if you want to open a demat account, you cannot come to NSDL or the depository to open a demat account. So NSDL or other depository, that is CDSL, has their depository participants, has an agents known as depository participants. Now these depository participants are similar to the banks that they offer services. So depository participants are the agents of NSDL. They open demat accounts on behalf of the client. So whenever you open a demat account, you will open a demat account with the agent of NSDL. Now we have around 278 depository participants associated with NSDL. So every depository participants they are scrutinized for before becoming a depository participant. They have to undergo certain net worth criteria and various other criteria that they have to fulfill. They have to register with SEBI. So whenever you open a deposit demat account, you have to see that whether the depository participant is actually registered with SEBI or not. Whether so they will be having a ID, registered ID. So before opening a demat account, please be careful that you open a demat account only with a SEBI registered entity. So you can open a demat accounts with a depository participants. Now, as you can see from the screen, there are two depositories, CDSL and NSDL in India. I belong to NSDL. So whenever you open a demat account with NSDL, you will be getting a unique ID, that is a DP ID and a client ID. Now this is a unique ID given only to you, just as you must have whenever you were in school or college, you will be identified by your roll numbers or certain unique IDs that will be given only to you. So in similar way, whenever you open a demat account, you will be getting your DP ID and your client ID. Now this DP ID is of 8 digits and client ID, as you can see, it starts with IN so and so. So this is a unique number assigned only to you. So whenever you open a demat account, see to it that you get a delivery instruction slip book. Now this DIS book is similar to a checkbook. Whenever you open a saving account, you get a checkbook, right? What is the use of checkbook? You can transfer your funds by giving a check, issuing a check to your bank, and the funds will get transferred to the person's account. Similarly, in case if you want to buy or sell shares, you can make use of your delivery instruction slip book, DIS book. So whenever you open a demat account, your deposit participant will give you a DIS book. This DIS book will be serial number and the client ID will be pre-printed and pre-stamped. If it is not, please do get in touch with your depository participant and tell him that this is not pre-printed or pre-stamped. So DIS book is similar to a checkbook. You will be getting your DP ID and client ID, which is a unique ID, which you have to mention whenever you are making use of this slip. Now, there are online facilities for transferring funds as well, which I will be also explaining it in our later slides. So demat account is mandatory. As I told you, demat account is mandatory if you want to invest in capital markets. Second, what is a basic service demat account? Now, this is a demat account wherein, in case of many of the investors, must be finding out that the AMC charges are very high, annual maintenance charges are very high. So some DPs, there are various entities of deposit participants who charge say 700, 800, 900. It depends on the services that they provide. So depending on the services, your AMC charges also would differ. So whenever you open an account, whenever you are going to open an account with your deposit participant, and whenever you are filling an account opening form, the DP charges, the AMC charges will be mentioned. But in case if you feel that the AMC charges are very high, and if you are a new investor, okay, for new investors, I'm sure that many of the new investors wouldn't directly jump to investing a big sum of money. So for those investors who want to open a BSDA account, you can inform your deposit participant that I want to open a basic service demat account. Now, what are the advantages of opening a basic service demat account? As you can see from the screen, if you are investing less than 50,000 in equity shares, there will be no AMC charge to you. So this is a very good benefit for the investors. And if you are investing in debt securities, if your holding is less than 1 lakh, again there is no AMC. So as you can see, if you are investing up from 50,000 to 2 lakh, only 100 rupees would be as your charge as your AMC. If it's ticked under your basic service demat account. And if it's more than 2 lakh rupees, if you invest in more than 2 lakh rupees, then it becomes a normal account. Now, what is a normal account? Normal account is similar to other accounts which your deposit partner will be charging to you. So, as I told you, every DP charges differently. So, the charge structure of every deposit participant who are associated with NSDL is available on the NSDL website. So if you want to open a demat account, you can go, before opening a demat account, you can make use of the charge structure, see that which deposit participant is charging, what are the services that they are offering, or you can open a BSDA account, tell your deposit participant that I want to open a BSDA account, and as per the screen you can see, there will be no charges if your holdings are less than 50, and similarly there are other charges which you can view on the screen. This is a simple example. It's nothing to explain about. We can make use of it. So this is a very important facility which the new investors can make use of it as well. Services offered by a depository. First is the dematerialization. It is when, if you want to convert your physical share certificate into electronic form, you need to get your certificate dematerialized with your depository participant. Now, as you know, that you cannot transfer securities if you are holding a physical share certificate. That means it is mandatory to dematerialize your physical share certificate, and then you can sell your securities in the market, open market. So dematerialization is converting your physical share certificates into electronic form. Second is rematerialization. So suppose if you want maybe after many years, if you feel like I was holding a good share of a company and I may not sell it, so there will be many investors who would want to have back the physical share certificates. So that also is possible with some minimum charges. So you can convert your securities of that particular company into physical form, into the physical share certificate by way of rematerialization. So this is also a facility that is offered to a depository to an investor. So you can, but many of the investors, as I told you, if they hold their certificates in electronic form, so you can make use of that as well. Transfer of securities also is a facility wherein at instant, just at one go, you can transfer your securities from your account to another person's account. So how is it possible now during this pandemic? Now it is very, as you know, that there are many government restrictions due to the pandemic increasing, due to the COVID increasing. You cannot personally go to your DP's office to submit your instruction, right? To give your donor instruction slip book. As I told you earlier, the IS book is used when you want to sell or buy your security. But there is another facility in case if you during this pandemic, if you are at home and if you want to buy or sell your shares or your securities, You can do it sitting at home by way of online facilities that are made available by your depository department or by NSDL itself. So NSDL offers a facility known as Speedy. Speedy is a facility wherein just sitting at home, you can transfer your securities to your broker by way of online facility. So this is an online facility wherein just by registering for Speedy facility of NSDL, you can transfer your securities online. The details are available on the NSDL website. You can make use of it. Also, you can change your beneficial ownership at any point of time. So, in case if you want to change the details of your BO, that means if you want to transfer your securities or maybe in offline mode, that also is possible by way of gift, by way of various other methods. So that can be made use of it as well. What are the other services offered by depositories? We have settlements of trades done on exchange connected to a depository. So settlements, we have Mr. Naveen who will be talking about more about trading aspects in this presentation. We also have services that can be available by depository participants. So every DP has their different services. You can make use of it. Select the right DP and select the based on the services and the charges that they offer. Many stockbrokers and banks also function as depository participants. Just as Sir mentioned, that many of the banks are offering 3-in-1 services, like depository participant offering 3-in-1 services. So many of the banks are also brokers. So you can make use of it as well in case if you want to open a demat account. The demat securities in depositories are safe and secure. So we hold more than 2 crore demat accounts in our system. So which is safe, secure till date. Nothing has happened to the securities of the investors because it's completely, first of all, it's completely the investors, the securities are of the investors, not of NSDL or CDSL. Secondly, the ownership also is of the investors, but we as depository are holding your securities in electronic form, which is safe and secure. Now I was talking about transmission of securities. Now what is transmission of securities? So in case of transfer of securities balance in a demat account due to death, bankruptcy or lunacy of the account holder, the securities will get transferred to the surviving holder. So example, if you have a joint account, okay, so for example, if your joint account is in the name of A and B, and due to uncertain circumstances, the Mr. A dies. So what will happen to the securities which are lying in the joint account of Mr. A and B? As per the tendency, the securities will get transferred to the joint account holder or surviving account holder, that is Mr. B. So for that, he will have to fill a transmission form. He will have to produce a death certificate of Mr. A, and the securities will get transferred to Mr. B. Also, in case if you are a single account holder and you have not made a nominee, so what will happen in that case? The securities will get transferred to the legal head. But as I will warn you or tell you that it is always advisable to make a nominee in your demat account. Why? Because in case, as you know, as per our Indian law, getting your securities transferred takes a lot of time to your nominees, to your legal heads, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money. And secondly, during this pandemic, it is not possible, like there are various restrictions wherein you have to, follow. So it is always advisable that you make a nominee. You can make a nominee up to 3, account holders. So if you want to say, for example, you have a demat account and you want to make a nominee Mr. A, B, and C, even that is possible. So multiple nomination is possible in your demat account. You have to mention the percentage in case you are making a multiple nominee. Now, the basic advantage of making a nomination is, in case of death of the account holder, the securities will get transferred to the nominee's account. So for that, the nominee will have to, if he has an existing demat account, the securities will get transferred to the existing demat account holder. In case if the nominee, it's not necessary that by making a nominee, the nominee has to have a demat account. But in case of death of the demat account holder, the securities, the nominee will have to open a demat account, and then the securities will get transferred to the nominee's demat account. So making a nomination is very simple. You just have to go to your deposit transfer and tell them that I want to make a nominee. In case if you haven't made a nominee today, please do go and inform your deposit transfer. This is a very important facility of nomination. As I told you, it's not a voluntary act of the account holder. So transfer brought about by operation of law, that a person cannot ask for transmission of shares from his own demat account. So only in case of death, bankruptcy, or lunacy of the account holder, this is possible. The transmission of security is possible. It's simple and fast. As I told you, you can go to your deposit person, tell him that you want to open, you want to transfer your securities to the surviving account holder. He will give you a transmission form, and you will have to fill in the details and submit it to your deposit person. Your securities will get transferred to your account, surviving account holder, or to the nominee's account holder. This is the process which I have explained it to you. What is a pledge? Pledge is basically deposits of some personal property as collateral. So you can even avail the facility of pledging or securities for availing the facility of loan. For example, if you have securities worth 10 lakh rupees in your demat account and you are in need of money or funds, maybe for your daughter's marriage or son's marriage or for a housing loan, there will be multiple reasons for that. And in case if you want to avail the facility of loan against your securities, even that is possible by pledging your securities. So you need to pledge your securities. Of course, there are certain securities that only can avail the facility of loan. So normally your deposit participant or your bank would pledge your securities and they would give a facility of loan against your securities. Once you repay the loan, your securities which were pledged will get back in the open mode. That means you can sell your securities once they are in open mode. So this facility is also available in your demat account. So investor wanting to borrow funds can also pay, has to pay margin fund. This is a new, talking about pledge and margin pledge. We have a seminar, a webinar in the evening today itself. So we have an expert speaker who will talk about pledge and margin pledge. So you can register for that webinar as well, which is at 5:30 today, which is organized by NSDL. So we will be talking more about how we can pledge our securities, what is margin pledge, and those things. Consolidated account statement. As I told you, whenever you open a saving account, what do you get? You get a passbook also. So passbook, what does it reflect? It reflects what are the securities that you have transferred to another demat account, what are the debits or credits taking place in your saving account, right? Similarly, in a demat account, NSDL or the other depository, that is CDSL, provides a consolidated account statement. If you are regularly transacting, you will get a statement every month. In case if you are not regularly transacting, you get it on a 6 monthly basis. That means twice in a year. Now, what is the benefit of consolidated account statement? First, NSDL, through NSDL consolidated account statement, you can view all your investments. So if you have invested in equity shares, if you have invested in preference shares, bonds, debentures, government securities, mutual funds, all these securities, all the portfolio of these securities will get reflected in one particular statement that is known as consolidated account statement. I would urge all the participants who are attending this webinar, whenever you are getting this statement from NSDL or CDSL, please do read your statement carefully. See to it that every transaction that you have made or every securities that you are owning in your demat account are reflecting in the consolidated account statement or not. In case if it's not reflecting, you can call up NSDL or you can even email it to us saying that so and so securities which I had purchased are not reflecting in the cash statement, or there is some discrepancy in the cash statement. You can mention that to us and we will get back to you as well. So what are the benefits? As I told you, all these statements, all the investments will be seen in one particular statement. Earlier, this facility was not available. You used to get multiple statements for multiple types of investments. For example, if you are investing in mutual funds, you would get statement for mutual funds. For equities, another statement for equity. So this would be a very cumbersome sort of maintaining it or monitoring it. So, through the statement, you can easily monitor your portfolio. It is available in graphical form. For initial statements are available in graphical presentation. That means it mentions the percentage of investment that you have done in equity shares against your mutual funds. So all this is reflecting in that particular statement as well. Statement of transactions, you get debits of securities are being mentioned, credits of securities, pledge of securities, margin pledge, if you have done a margin pledge or repledge. These all types of securities are being reflected in a consolidated account statement. It is issued by deposit that, as I told you, NSDL and CDSL issues this consolidated account statement. If you are having two demat accounts with NSDL and CDSL both, so whoever you have opened a demat account with as your first demat account with a depository, that depository will be sending you the cash statement. As I told you, we have invested grievance reversal team online systems. You can note of it. You can make a note of it, or you can take a picture of it. Online systems available at NSDL and CDSL. You can go to this and check out the online system as well. You can post your queries to NSDL at relations@nsdl.co.in. We have even toll-free numbers. You can make use of it. And you can also make use of scores. So SEBI has, as I told you, SEBI has also scores platform wherein in case if you have any complaints against your broker, against your deposit participant, you can make use of your scores platform. Thank you so much. We will be going into our presentation on how to buy and sell shares in securities market, which will be taken by Naveen Agarwal. Mr. Naveen Agarwal has completed MBA in finance from ICFAI Mumbai and has experience in financial markets for about 7 years. He is working as complaint grievance handling officer in NBC since 2015 and addresses investor complaints retained to stockbrokers. So thank you so much, Naveen, and if you can unmute yourself, Naveen. Yeah, thank you so much, Naveen. You can take it forward.
And
I'll just stop the presentation. Yeah, I'll stop sharing the presentation. You can take it forward.
Yeah, sure. Malon, please allow me to share the PPT.
Yeah. Yeah, you can take it forward, Naveen.
Thank you, Malon. I suppose everyone can see the PPTs.
Yes, Naveen, we can see that.
So, thank you, Mr. Vijay Rangarajan from SEBI and Mr. Marlon from HDNL from providing insight about the securities market. We have seen the role of the SEBI and the depository in the share market, and now we will move on to the exchange role in the security market and how you can buy or sell the shares. This will be the flow of the presentation. Trading and demat account opening form, modes of placing order to trade, contract note, how to settle buy and sell trade, payment of margins, early pay, and grievance reversal at exchange level. So to trade in the securities market, individuals or investor cannot trade directly on exchange platform. They need to have a trading account with brokers that has been given license with the SEBI and exchange permission. They are the registered member of the exchange. You can choose any of the broker as per your research and as per your services provided by them to you. There are some mandatory documents to open the trading account. So one is the proof of identity. PAN number is the mandatory document. Without PAN, you cannot open trading account or demat account. Other than that, you can give either voter ID, driving license, passport, Aadhaar card, or any other identity card issued by the central or state government. Proof of address, voter ID, driving license, passport, ration card, Aadhaar card, bank account statement, or the first page of the bank passbook showing the address of the investor. Utility bills like electricity bill, gas bill in the name of the investor. Documents which trading member collects in the name of the KYC. This is a one-time process. If in case you are a new investor, and all these details are shared with the KRA agents, and these details will remain there So the DPs and the trading member can use them for opening your account. Once you open a trading account with the trading member or the stockbrokers, there are some documents. One is the mandatory document, and there are some other voluntary documents. Say suppose if you buy a mobile, some manual come with this, how it works, what are the features and warranties. Like that, we have documents for the trading account. So they are divided into two parts. One is mandatory. It contains the rights and obligation of the trading member and investor. What are the rights of the trading member? What are the rights of the investor, along with the obligation of both the parties? Uniform risk disclosure. This documents tell about what is the risk associated with the stock market, how the stock market works, how you need to keep the security of the account, what are the policies laid down by the stockbrokers, features provided by the stockbrokers, margin requirement, how the margin works. So all these basic details are provided in the risk disclosure policies. For trading on exchange, what are the precautions you need to take before taking any trade in the stock market? What are the things you are supposed to do? Like first, placing the order, you should search about the company. You should know how much quantity you are placing, what is the price, is any stop loss order in case the prices changes in other direction as you are predicting. What are the don'ts? Say suppose you should not share your password, you should not share your credential login of the trading account or the depository account. You should not give any cash, or you should not give your email ID login details to any of the brokers. So these are the do's and don'ts related information that is being provided in the documents. Procedure of stockbrokers, how the stockbrokers will work, what are the policies they have laid down in related to margin, placing of the trades, taking new client, exiting of the clients, providing contract notes, providing statement, SMS intimations. All these process and policies will be there in this document. Tariff sheet, it is a most important document for you. Is a brokerage that you will be paying to the broker for the service that you are taking to trade in the stock market. So for equity or for derivative market, for commodity market, how much for particular trade you will be paying, that details will be there. You should check this detail before signing the KYC documents. Before filling the form, you should cross check all the informations in that. Some the voluntary documents, running account authorization. Running account authorization is say suppose who wants to trade in numerous days. Suppose if you are a heavy trader, you are trading on daily basis. Running account authorization will provide a facility wherein you don't have to move the funds or securities from your bank account or demat account. The securities will lie with the broker. So whenever you place the trade, that will be settled directly instead of a member asking you to bring the funds and the securities. Running account authorization can be revoked at any point of time in case if you feel you want to get the trade settled on trade basis. Suppose you sold 100 shares of ABC company limited in your bank account, you just stop running account authorization and you ask them to do the settlement on trade basis. Power of attorney, as the Mr. Rangarajan has Vijay Rangarajan sir has informed about, POA is a very crucial document, though it is not a mandatory document. But in case if you are providing out, you should get to know what is being mentioned in the document, and before signing, take a good look of that document. Electronic contract note, there is a feature along with the physical contract note. Say suppose if you are buying any mobile from a local shop, they will give you one GST bill. Same kind of bill for the trades that is being executed. For a electronic contract note, you need to provide the email ID to the broker so that the bill or the contract note can be sent to you after the end of the day. So suppose if you are taken 100 of the trades in the during the day, all these details like order time, order date, trade number, company name, script name, price, and the brokerage, GST, all other charges, everything will be mentioned in the contract note. This will be a one single PDF for a day, and this will be sent to you on your email ID at the end of the day. Consent for electronic communication and receiving alerts. In case if you do want to opt for email communication and SMS, you need to provide a consent for this. Otherwise, there is a physical facility also provided by the members. So you can receive the contract note and all these letters and the information about your account in the physical form through courier services. We'll move on to the modes of placing orders to trade, how you can trade, and what are the modes you can place the trade. One is through an email to stockbroker. You can send an email to the stockbroker from your registered email ID only, not from any other email ID. You can mention for which trade, for which stock you want to trade, quantity, price, and all other information. You can use the stockbroker website. You can use their mobile apps, since nowadays mobiles are very much in use, and a lot of brokers and banks are using or giving facilities of mobile app. You can use the same. Branch, in case if they have a branch near to your address, you can definitely go to the branch and you can place the trade. And there is also a facility of phone call. So you can call the trading member on their trading desk. The number will be provided to you when you open account. They will share one account opening date. This list, this called the account opening kits. Along with that, they will give you your account details like your user ID, unique client code, your password, your registered number, your registered email ID, who is your RM or dealer, and who is the compliance officer of the company. All these details will be mentioned in this welcome kit. While placing order to trade, you can receive SMS or email alert on your registered mobile number and email account in case if you have provided the same to the stockbroker. Now, what is the contract note? As I said, it is a record of any transaction. If you are buying or selling in the stock market, all these transactions will be taken note in the contract note. Only trade which is executed successfully. So suppose if you place a sale order and executed successfully, only those transactions will be there. In case if you place an order and by any reason it got cancelled due to margin or non-availability of the price of the buyers or seller, those such cancelled transaction will not be there in the contract note. In case if you feel is there any discrepancy in the contract note, say suppose brokerage is not mentioned properly or the number of scrap, quantity, price, if there is any issue, you should check the contract note on daily basis as and when you trade, and in case of any issue, you should write to your broker and inform them what are the issues you have. Contract note contain detail of transaction, date, time, price, quantity, trade ID, and the various charges. How to receive a contract note? In case if you have provided an email ID, it will come within 24 hours at the end of the day. Physical contract note, along with that, quarterly settlement of fund and securities will also be shared with you by the stockbrokers. That will contain the details of the quarterly statement, quarterly transactions that is being done in the trading account along with the demat account. Now, how to settle buy and sell trade. Now we know ki, okay, you can go to the stockbroker, you can place orders through multiple mediums, and how it will be settled. So one is the pay of fund and securities. In case if you are buying, you need to pay amount or money, or in case if you are selling the securities, you need to provide the securities to the stockbroker. So pay of fund and securities or transfer of fund and securities from broker accounts to exchange account. Pay the funds to the broker. In turn, the broker will pay the funds and securities to the clearing member. Then the clearing member or the clearing corporation will settle this account, will do the netting of the trades, then they will pass on the this benefit to the counterparty. In case if you are buying securities, fund will pay to the other party and you will receive the securities. In case if you are selling the securities, securities will pay to the other party and fund will come. So this whole process for the equity segment, it will be done on T+2 basis. So suppose today is 1st of April. Say suppose you have bought 100 shares of ABC company. The settlement will done on the 3rd of April in case if there is no holiday. So all T+2 or for derivative segment, it is T+1. This timeline is of working day excluding any public holidays, Saturdays and Sundays. Money should always be paid either through check or through NEFT or RTGS to the stockbroker only, not to the any employee of the broker or dealer or the RM. You should never give cash to anyone, to the broker or to the dealer. Always the electronic transfer should be there. Out of funds and securities, the same way you are paying, you will be receiving the fund and securities. So transfer of fund and securities from broker accounts to client's accounts once trade of securities has been executed. The party between the broker and you is the clearing corporation who will be settling these trades. Received an investor demat account within 24 hours of payout of pay. In case if you have choose the option of settlement by trade to trade basis. There is something called counterparty guarantee given by the stock exchanges for settlement of every buy-sell trade through settlement guarantee fund. This is being established by the SEBI and the exchanges. And the trade is not executed, there will be an auction and that trade will be settled by the exchange. Strictly prohibited. You should never ever give cash to anyone. The money should be given to the stockbroker name only and through check or through electronic transfer. Then in case if you want to trade in cash segment or the derivative segment, you are supposed to pay some margin to be closed with before placing orders. You can give margin either in the form of money or in the securities, or you can give a combination of both. You can check the margin requirement on the website of the stock exchange, how much margin requirement is there for a particular trade. Margin paid in form of place, as our colleague from NSDL has informed about placing of the shares. So instead of giving the shares and giving the money, you can use this place facility through the demat account. For that you need to give a one-time authentication password to create a place with the stockbrokers. How to pay margin in securities margin place, as the same is informed by our colleague. I will be now moving on to the early pay-ins. Early pay-in is the payment of funds or delivery of shares in case of buy and sell to the exchange by pay-in time on settlement dates. What is early pay-in? When investor pay funds or deliver shares before the designated time. So for cash segment it is T+2 and for derivative segment it is T+1. So before settlement of the trade, in case if you are providing the funds and the shares to the stockbroker, it will be called early pay-in because you are giving the requirement before the settlement of the trades. What will be the benefit of this? No margin need to be paid since you are paying the fund or securities before the settlement. So no margin money will be blocked from your account. So you can utilize that margin money to place a fresh orders. Since margin money is paid, stockbrokers will providing these details to the stock exchanges and the clearing corporation. So in that form, you have a more margin to get trade in the stock market. As the SEBI and NSDL have their investor agreements redressal mechanism, so the exchanges also provide. In case if you have any dispute or any issue with the stockbroker, you can contact your stockbroker or the compliance officer. The detail of the compliance officer is mentioned on the contract note. The name, the email ID and phone number will be there. You can speak to your stockbroker through email or through phone. In case if you are not getting an answer, you can write to them through email or through letters. However, even after raising a complaint with the broker, you are not satisfied with the responses, or in case if you are not getting any response at all, you can file a complaint with the stock exchange. You can visit to our website and you can directly lodge a complaint with our portal. You can also visit to our branches wherein they can assist you in filing the form and redressing your grievance. Apart from that, you can also approach to SEBI, to their SEBI's course website and to their offices to file a complaint. Complaints can be filed exchange through online mode. You can send us an email. You can send us a physical letter at our any of the office, and you can visit our centers to help how to fill the complaint form, how to file a complaint, and all the information. You can be assisted with our officers. In case if the issues that has been taken up with the stockbroker, with the exchange, and the exchange and the stockbroker is not able to provide a solution amicably to you, there is a redressal mechanism called as investor grievance resolution panel. Now it is grievance resolution committee, GRC committee. That is an external committee appointed by the stock exchanges who have experience in the financial market. They don't have any relation with the investor, with the stockbroker or the exchange. They work as a third party. They look after the issues raised by you and the submission made by you and the trading member, and then they will pass an order. This order is binding on trading member. In case if you are not satisfied with the order given by the GRC committee, there is a quasi-judicial mechanism that is called arbitration, and the same is provided by the stock exchanges. You can file a complaint with the stock exchanges, and that is from my side. Before closing my side, I just want to request each one of you, whenever you are opening an account, never share your login credential, never ask the broker to create an email ID. Before signing the document, you should make sure that all the necessary fields are filled, like your name, PAN number, email ID, phone number, what is the brokerage charges. But the most important thing, never share your login credential in any case. If you have any issue with the login, you can always write to broker and ask for the IPR. And thank you from my side.
Thank you, Naveen, for this wonderful presentation. Now we will be going to the question answer session. So I would be taking the questions that the participants have asked.
Yeah, sure. Please.
So one of the questions that the participant has asked is, can a demat account be opened in joint name on either a survivor basis operation? Sir, Siddharth sir, if you can please elaborate on that, because first you can open a demat account in joint name definitely, and in case if, as I told you, consummation is a facility that in case of death of the demat account holder, the securities will get transferred to the surviving account holder. In case if it's a single account holder, that the securities will get transferred to the nominee, and in case if the single account holder hasn't made a nominee, it will get transferred to the legal head. The next question from Mr. Siddharth is it advisable to purchase equity based on suggestions made by the dealing official of DP? Vijayarangam sir, if you can just elaborate on that.
Yeah. Actually, you should not take anyone's advice seriously. You have to do your own due diligence, as I said. Unless the person giving the advice is your appointed financial advisor, who is in turn a SEBI registered financial advisor, it is not advisable to listen to anyone. Please don't act upon the investment advice given by anyone other than your financial advisor.
Okay, thank you, sir. There is a question from Mr. Prakash. Can sole account holder transfer shares to another where he is a second account holder? So can you just take that?
Which one?
How can a sole holder transfer shares to another where he is a second holder?
How can a sole holder transfer shares to another DP where he is second holder? Sir, it is not possible. If the holder of securities is the sole holder, you should have another demat account as sole holder only. You cannot transpose. You cannot transpose, na?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Prakash is, why are they checking the name on the PAN card with Aadhaar card? Is there a way to overcome this since the name was not matching? I was facing a lot of issues because of the name.
You may please take that question.
Yeah, so as you know that in the demat account and the matching of the PAN card with the Aadhaar card, the e-KYC or the KYC that has been done has to match. So definitely, you can what you can do is you can also there's a facility wherein if you go to tin-nsdl.com, you can go to a website of tin-nsdl.com, which is we can modify the PAN card. That means we can modify the name of your PAN card which is matching on the Aadhaar card, because ultimately your PAN card and Aadhaar card during the e-KYC process or during the KYC process has to definitely match. Otherwise, it would be identified as two different people.
Is there some exemption like, pursuant to marriage, if someone's surname is getting changed? I think there is some exemption, isn't it?
Naveen, is there any exemption on this? Any idea?
Malun, as of now, I'm not aware of this. I need to cross-check it. I request someone to write, whomsoever asked the question, I'll just share my email ID with everyone.
Yeah, so
You can write the question to me and I'll get it addressed.
thank you, Naveen. Prakash, if you can mention that on the email ID that Mr. Naveen would give, we would clarify that as well.
This is my email ID. You can query on this email ID. I'll get it checked from my teams and answer to you, sir.
Thank you so much. There are many people who are asking recordings of this webinar. Sir, we do not provide recordings. As I told you, we have the presentation slides available on the NSDL website. Under Education tab, you can go on the Education tab of NSDL website and download this presentation as well for your reference. Vijayarangan sir, there is some suggestion from Swapna. She says that please consider having future sessions on SEBI clarification of equity and debt funds as well as investing in IPOs. Swapna,
There are.
Yeah, so Swapna, just to inform you, as I told you, NSDL also and NSC, I'm sure that NSC also conducts many webinars in the mutual funds, specifically for mutual funds. So as I told you, you can go to NSDL website. Under Education tab, we have forthcoming investor awareness programs. So as I told you, every Friday, Saturdays, we keep on conducting webinars on different topics. So investing in mutual funds also is one of the topics which we had conducted during the month of April. As I told you, for today's session in the evening, we have pledge and margin pledge, that is the topic. And even for next Saturday, we have investing in gold. So in case if people who are interested in such topics, they can register for our webinars and we can attend the same. Yesterday we had a topic on the insurance, types of insurance. So, we, NSDL, SEBI, and the exchanges, NSC, and all conduct various such webinars for the benefit of the investors. So, please do go on our websites, on SEBI website, on NSC website, on NSDL website to check the topics, to check the, webinars that we are conducting for the benefit of investors. Thank you.
In fact, all the AMCs conduct such webinars.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. Any more questions, participants? Please do mention that in the chat box. We will happy. We will be happy to take it forward.
Mallu, someone has asked how many demat account can individual can hold.
Sir, Siddharth, sir, we can hold n number of demat accounts. There is no maximum limit for holding demat accounts for an individual. Only the thing is, as I told you, first of all, whenever you are opening a demat account, see to it that what are the AMC charges that you are charged by your deposit participant. Opening multiple demat accounts, what is the purpose of opening multiple demat accounts? Is there any specific purpose that for which you're opening a multiple demat account? Because whenever you're opening multiple demat accounts, or DP, every DP would charge you as AMC. So you will have to pay your annual maintenance charges to your deposit partner. So if there is any benefit in opening multiple demat accounts, then go for it. Else, opening a one single demat account, because you can get multiple facilities in a single demat account as well. So that is the answer to your query. Mr. Rajendran has asked why, when Sensex is at P, if we invest in mutual fund as one-time investment, in 3 months down the line, if Sensex drops, the mutual fund value or annually drops or retains. So, Vijay sir, can you take it?
That is depending upon the scheme he has invested. If it is a thematic scheme, definitely it will not reflect the ups and downs of the Sensex. So that, I think that clarifies.
Okay.
We don't know in which scheme he has invested. Naturally, a scheme may not reflect the movements of Sensex unless he has invested in the Sensex ETF.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Prakash has asked one more question. The DPSR report and portfolio report do not match. Complained several times in past 3 years, but to no avail. Into reach. So, are you talking about the portfolio report means the consolidated account statement? Yes, then we can email it to relations@nsdl.co.in if you are getting the statement from NSDL. If you are getting statement from CDSL, you can mail it to CDSL saying that there is a discrepancy in your DP statement and your cash statement. So please do email it to us during this webinar. NSDL's email ID is relations, RELAT IONS@nsdl.co.in. I'll be mentioning that in the chat box as well. Please email it us if you are getting NSDL consolidated account statement. If you are getting cash statement from CDSL, you will have to get in touch with CDSL. One question again is from Mr. Prakash. Why the money are credited on weekdays? Why not immediately? Example of last week, suppose I initiated a request on existing account investment on Friday, but Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday was a holiday. So money was credited to my account only on Thursday. Why is it so? Vijay sir, can you take it?
Please take it.
Naveen, if you can take it.
Yeah, sure. So, Mr. Prakash, it is like say, suppose if you have any open position or if you have created a position in cash market or in the derivative segment, this particular amount that is being lying in the ledger, that will be required for the settlement. Since the settlement does not happen on any of the calendar holidays or on the public holidays, the same would be hold till the time working days are coming. So in case if you are marking a payment on Friday, Saturday, Sunday being holiday, the payment will get credit to you on Monday only. This is because of the settlement cycle.
Thank you, Naveen. One question is from Mr. Ranjit. As a new investor before trading any kind of equity shares, which section must require to investigate? Ranjit sir, as I told you, you need to be careful before investing into any particular type of share. Basically, you have to do some basic analysis, like reading the annual reports of the particular company, or you can also, what a particular company actually is into. Please do read, go to their website, see to it what is the balance sheet, see to it what is the cash flow statements. Please do a basic analysis before investing into a particular company. So, as I told you, all the reports as per SEBI mandate has to be made available on that particular company's website. If it's, so please do go to the website of the particular company, read the annual reports, read the balance sheets, and then invest appropriately.
Mr. Ranjit, you can also visit to exchange website. Therein you can look after for that particular script and go to the historical prices. So you can look after how the securities has traded on the exchange platform, and then you can take a informed decision.
Oh, thank you. One question is from Siddharth to Mr. Nami. In case equity is purchased against margin pledge and the price of equity falls thereafter, then what is the maximum period the stock can be held by an individual without paying margin pledge charges? Naveen, can you take it?
Yes, sir. Sir, the margin that you are providing as a players through the depository participant and the movement of the price is not actually directly related. Margin you are providing just to create your position. So this margin can be either for cash segment or for the derivative segment. In case of cash segment, it will be settled on T plus 2 basis, and whatever the money you have given as a margin, that will be released to you. But in case if you are trading in the derivative segment and the prices of that particular script say getting down, your margin requirement will be released to you. So in case, so there is no limit to that how much days you can hold it. Till the time of expiry, you can definitely get hold of it. But suppose if the price is moving up upward and the margin provided by you is not sufficient, either you have to square up part of the position or you need to provide an additional margin before getting it squared up by the RMS team. That is called the risk management system of the trading member. So margin is will be for the position that you have created, and that will be linked to your price. So in case if the price is moving upward, margin is not sufficient to hold the position, you need to infuse more fund, or either you can get it reduced. I suppose I answered the question.
Yeah, you can. So now one question is from Mr. Patel. Can HUF hold demand accounts? Yes, sir. HUF can hold demand accounts as well. PAN card of HUF and is mandatory for that. One question is from Deepika. Thanks for the great session. Thank you, Deepika. I am a new starter. I'm having very new questions. That's fine, Deepika. We are conducting the sessions for you all as well. So I have started using mobile investment app like Grow. How can I do due diligence in this case? Also, is it possible to cash when using such mobile apps? Where can I register for cash? So, Deepika, first for cash statement, first the deposit participant, the DP of has to be of NSDL or CDSL. So, suppose if as I told you, the deposit participant does not send the cash statement, NSDL or CDSL sends the cash statement to the investor. So if the DP whom we have opened an account with is of CDSL, CDSL will send a cash statement. If it's of NSDL, NSDL will send a cash statement. How can I do due diligence in this case? As this was answered previously, you will have to read, what actually the company is into, whatever the DP. For example, whomever you are opening a deposit account with, whether the DP is actually registered with SEBI or not. You do some basic analysis of that particular DP. He has to have a SEBI registered number, and there are many other such criteria which a DP has to fulfill before becoming a depository participant. Also, is it possible to receive cash when using such mobile apps? So, these are two different questions. As I told you, cash statement is sent to investors when you open a demand account with any of the depository. Mobile app NSDL has also made mobile app NSDL Speedy, which is available on Play Store and App Store. The basic advantage of NSDL mobile app is it provides you the basic, the portfolio of your investments that you have made. You can also vote, as Vijayarangan sir was talking about e-voting in his presentation slides. NSDL mobile app also provides the facility of e-voting through mobile app itself. So you may not, personally be on your laptop or personally be anywhere. You just sit wherever you are. Just log into the NSDL mobile app named NSDL Speedy. To register, you have to provide some basic information about your DP ID, client ID, your account details. Once you register for that, you can see your portfolio in your Demat account. You can vote for a particular, AGM or UGM that the company is conducting. So voting is also made available on mobile app itself. So there are basic advantages of having a mobile app, NSDL mobile app. You can download it today itself. So cash statement right now is not being made available on NSDL mobile app, but we are looking into it as well. If how easily we can help investors looking from the mobile app itself. What is the difference between CDSL and NSDL? I suggest. So as I told you, both are depositories. There are two depositories in India, NSDL and CDSL. The roles of both the depositories are the same. They provide all the certificates in electronic form. They hold the securities in electronic form of the investors. The basic difference is, NSDL was the first entity which was, started as a depository in the year 1996, followed by CDSL. We hold more than 2 crore investors, so there is not much of difference if I go to say, but the role of both the depositories are the same in the capital markets. Mr. Mubala has timed for an informative session. Thank you so much. Mr. Katta has asked, please share the link of this webinar recording, which will be helpful who are not able to attend. So, as I told you, NSDL conducts such sessions on a regular basis. You can visit our website. We conduct sessions with NSE, SEBI on such topics as well. So if you cannot attend today, that's fine. You can attend our sessions maybe in future. Go to our website. The details are mentioned on our website along with the topics. You can choose any of the topics that you would like to attend and get yourself registered, and you can attend the same. Mr. Katta has also thanked for the webinar that we have conducted. Thank you so much. Mr. Deepika has asked one question. I have been receiving automated message that margin pledge was started. I had no clue since I haven't requested for it. Should I need to worry or check something? Vijayarangan sir, if you can take that. Or Naveen, any one of them?
For this receiving of automated margin pledge, I suppose first you need to see whether you have created any position for the stock, or have you given any OTP or any authorization to the broker to create a pledge on behalf of you. In case if you have not done either of that, I would request to file a complaint with the depository so they can look into that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Amit has asked, how can I close a Demat account and trading account with a broker to avoid its AMC charges, since I am not taking its services and I have made account with other broker? So it's very simple. You have to inform your depositor person by giving an instruction that you need to close your Demat account. Whatever securities are lying in your Demat account which you need to close, you can transfer the securities to your other Demat account which you are going to keep it running. So just give an instruction to your DP which you want to close, and your DP will do the input as well.
And for the trading account closure, in case if you have any credit balance, the same will be transferred to your linked bank account. In case if there is a debit, you need to pay to the broker, and the broker will close the trading account once you give them the trading account closure form and instructions to them.
Okay, thank you so much. Another question is from Mr. Siddhartha. Does margin pledge charges vary from DP to DP or prefixed by SEBI? Naveen, any idea about that?
I have no idea about that, but I suppose this margin pledging charges are fixed as per the number of script. I need to cross check it again.
Okay. One question is from Mr. Ranjit. How the way of read the complete financial report? So I suggest you want to ask how do I read the financial reports. There are, as I told you, sir, there are many webinars being conducted on this as well, and many of the people, or even the details of such, how do we read a financial report also is being made available on many of the authentic websites. You can go to search Google search and check for it as well. So or you can attend any of the basic information which is being made available on the authentic websites.
Just to interrupt, Mr. Siddharth, I guess there is a session on this place and place by the NSDL in the evening 5:30.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah.
sir, you can try, you can register for that seminar, and you can have this question answered there.
Yes, sir. So, as Mr. Naveen rightly said, please do register for our evening session, which is on pledge and margin pledge. We have an expert speaker as well who will be talking in detail about this topic. So, I would suggest please do register yourself and you can attend the seminar as well. This is a free of cost seminar for the benefit of the investors. The next question is I'm not receiving I'm not receiving the NSDL cash statement. So I have given you an email ID, relations@nsdl.co.in. You can mention that that you are now receiving cash statement and we'll get back to you as well. Do mention the BP ID, the client ID, while mentioning the mail to you so that we can get it clarified and send you the cash statement. Another question is asked by Mr. Sumanta. In case trading is not done on regular basis, is there any possibility of misuse? Naveen, can you just answer that?
Yeah. So there may be a chance of unauthorized trading in case by unintentionally the login ID and the password has been shared, or say suppose someone is giving you some advice and you have said ki okay you can place the trade for trading. After 6 months the account will become inactive. So if you want to trade further, you need to do a re-KYC. So keep checking the email ID, emails and the messages that is coming from the exchanges and from the depository in case if there is any movement in the trades or in the movement of the scripts that has been with the depositories. In case if you found anyone is doing any transaction in your account, you can definitely reach out to us.
Okay. Thank you, Naveen. Another question is from Mr. Naveen. Is there any possibility of trading account becoming inoperative for no transaction? What is the time frame?
I suppose it's a 6 month. If in case if you are not using for more than 6 months, the account will become operative. But however, this may vary depending upon the broker to broker. So you need to refer the policy and procedure, the guidelines that has been shared by the stock brokers to you. In case if it is not with you, most of the brokers have them on their website. You can check their respective website. Else, you can call to their customer care and request for the policy and procedure. They will help you out with this.
Okay. Thank you so much. Mr. RK, can you just mention your question once again? That would be great. So I would request Mr. RK to please do mention your query in the chat box. We'll be taking it. One question is from Mr. Vansi. I have gold on physical format. How to convert that in DMAT? So you will have to give a simple instruction to your depository participant that you want to convert that ETF or that you're holding the physical form into the existing demat account and that can be done as well. So you have to get in touch with your depository participant for that. Mr. RK,
there is one question from Mr. RK. If I bought today some shares for intraday but could not sell it today for some reason, tomorrow if I am selling, I am getting a message of insufficient quantities from NSE. What to do in this case? before selling I am not able to place those shares, as in my broker software it's showing 0 shares to be placed. What should done in this case? Sir, for intraday trades, they will be squared off by the exchange automatically. In case if you are placing, say, suppose I have bought in the morning and place an intraday trade, at 3:30, all trades that has been placed under intraday category, they will automatically get squared off. So until and unless there is a technical issue of some kind wherein you can't place that counter trade or the broker can't place the trade, they will be roll over to the next day. So, but in case if the trade is happening successfully, you won't be seeing any quantity to get it settled for next day. But I would like to ask you to share your query on my email ID as well, because this is the first time I'm having this kind of query. So I'll just give you my email ID once again, and you can provide me the screenshot of the messages that has been coming to you. But on a general practice, if it is an intraday trade, that will get squared off at the end of the day.
Okay, thank you, Naveen. Any more questions? Participants, please do mention that in the chat box. We'll be happy to take it. Is NSDL considering of sharing a session on intraday trade with stop loss? This you can attend any of the NEC webinars. I guess NEC conducts sessions on the trading aspects. So you can go to NSC's website to know more about the session that they conduct. Supriya has asked, what is the record date for dividend of share? Record. Naveen, can you take that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
Jayanam sir?
Yeah, please. The record date is the date announced by the company to reckon the beneficiary holders or the members whose name appears on the register of the company. They will be entitled for the dividend. That is called a record date.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions, please, participants? Please do mention that in the chat box. Participants, any more questions? Please do mention that in the chat box. We'll be happy to take it. I guess we are at the end of the session. Thank you, participants. Okay, so Supriya has asked one more question. What is ex-dividend date? Vijay Rangam sir, can you just take that?
Yeah, once the record date is over, the share becomes ex-dividend. It's simple as it is. So the shares which are traded on the next day or the deliveries which are got on the next day of the record date, they are all ex-dividend and they are not entitled for the dividend. The previous owner would have got the dividend. That's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Participants, any more questions? One more question is from Mr. Rangam sir. I had X number of shares from which I pledge you. Would I get dividend on balance shares or on all shares?
Yeah, pledge doesn't affect your ownership. You will get dividend for all.
Participants, do mention your question in the chat box. We'll be happy to take it from. I guess participants' questions have been answered. Thank you so much, participants, for attending today's webinar, which is on Introduction to Securities Market. I hope you all have liked it. And if there are any more questions, you can email it to us at relations@nsdl.co.in. He has also given his email ID. You can email it to him if you have any query regarding the trading aspect. Or SEBI has its email ID, which you can go to the website and register for it. With this, we come to the end of our webinar. Thank you so much, and we'll be conducting many more sessions for you all. So I hope you have attended and liked this webinar. Thank you so much, and do be safe at home as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vijay Venkatajan sir, and thank you, Marlon.
Thank you, Mr. Marlon. Thank you, Mr. Naveen. Thank you, all the participants. Thank you very much.